Welcome to another Bizzy Webinar. I'm Dave Meyer with Bizzy Web, and today we're going to talk about what is an SSL and why does Google care? As we go through this today, we're going to have a few things, but first I wanted to introduce you to me. I am Dave Meyer, the president of Bizzy Web, of course. If you have questions during today's event, please go ahead and send me an email at dave@bizzyweb.com or give us a call at 612-424-9990. We'll take care of your questions during the event as well, but as we go through, this is intended to be a resource for you. So if you do have those questions, there's also an easy way to ask questions live during the event, and that's by going into the event, clicking on under number 1 in the event page, and clicking on that Google Plus link. When you click on that Google Plus link, it's going to open up a new window, and from that new window, you'll see that there's a Q&A and live button if you're watching this live. If you're watching afterwards, you're going to have to send me an email for questions. But when you click play, it's going to pop up with a new window, and I am going to press pause here so you don't hear me twice. And when you see this, you'll also note when this new window opens up that you can scroll down to the bottom right corner of your event window and click on the green Ask a New Question button here. So if you click this and click Ask a Question here, or type your question, of course, I will see that during the event, and we will answer your questions as they come. Now, SSL and the things that we're going to talk about today are relatively straightforward, but this is going to be a little bit of a different agenda for the day. It's going to be a little quicker than we normally do these Bizzy webinars, but this is all about what secure socket layers are and the search engine optimization implications, or why Google cares about having a secure website. We're going to talk through the pros and cons, and finally what you need to get started with an SSL for your website. As I mentioned before, this is intended to be helpful and interesting to you. So if you have questions or would like to ask additional questions during the event or after, again, just go back to this page. You can send me an email at dave@bizzyweb.com, or again, go into the Hangout window and use the Q&A tool to ask us those questions. All right, promised first that we would talk a little bit about Bizzy Web and who we are. We are a digital marketing agency based out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. And when you visit us, you'll be able to hang out with a bunch of great people. Here's some pictures of our office. And specifically, we are a digital marketing and web design firm. What we do for our clients is really we create the base for our clients' web presence, the foundation, meaning websites. And then from the website, we build digital marketing into everything that you do. When you publish to a Bizzy Web powered website, that active publishing will also publish your content to Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Google+, Pinterest, Tumblr, and more. And then you can also seamlessly integrate with email marketing. Bizzy Web is a constant contact authorized local expert. And so we can help you with a lot of things that most other digital marketing agencies don't normally do. Our Buzz Builders programs are essentially outsourced marketing, much like outsourced IT. Will bring you an entire team of people to help you with your IT concerns. You can get an entire team of people to help you with your digital marketing for less than the price of hiring one person through Bizzy Web. That's all about us. Let's get right into the content for today and talk about what is an SSL. SSL stands for Secure Sockets Layer. It's probably the thing that you noticed in a lot of websites now where it says HTTPS. HTTPS stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure, and it's basically an indicator that your website traffic, or the content being sent to and from that page on your website, is being encrypted. What encryption does is it basically scrambles the content and the inputs on a website whenever that website serves pages or receives content from users, both on uploads and downloads. It's pretty similar to the difference between a postcard, which is regular HTTPS. You send a postcard through the mail, anybody can read it. hackers can read HTTPS or HTTP content in plain text, versus like a FedEx certified mail box, like a sealed box. That's HTTPS. So it's not completely 100% foolproof. Nothing really is. But if you take the time to secure content for your clients, for your customers, that's an enhanced trust factor. And it actually proves to the user for sure that your website is representative of the company that you claim to be from. You have to jump through a number of hoops in order to get into an SSL or a secure socket layer. Primary among those is you have to prove that you own the domain, and you have to run through a bunch of things. Bizzy Web secures HTTPS or SSL certificates for our clients upon request, and many more clients are requesting these as they're starting to learn the benefits of SSL beyond just making sure that content is properly secured. You may have noticed recently, really in the past couple of years, that Facebook has gone completely HTTPS. Google and any Google Mail, Gmail kind of content, or Google Plus, all of the content that's trafficked back and forth between Google entities, wherever you log in, all of that stuff is SSL. Twitter, when you're logged in to Twitter, basically any account where you log in, you're now seeing all of that traffic being HTTPS versus straight HTTP or straight HTML. So what's the big deal, and what does that all mean? Well, as far as Google is concerned, security is really a top priority. There's a trust indicator as far as what Google applies to their search algorithms. And what that means is if a site is secured, then Google has extra trust in that page, and that factors into the rankings on the website. Now, if you move from HTTP to HTTPS, you're probably not going to see a dramatic spike in your web traffic or in your search engine results right away. And as a matter of fact, you may even see a small decrease, and I'll talk more about that in a moment, as Google re-indexes your content. But you will gain your search engine rankings back pretty quickly, and you'll actually see a boost thereafter, especially as we see what Google's now giving us as indication that they may soon start labeling HTTP sites with a red X in front of them and say that this site is not secure. Now, that's a bad indicator, of course, and they may actually start proactively and actively decreasing rankings for websites that are not secure. So that's the difference between maybe a slight boost and giving a penalty. So they've offered us the carrot, and now they're going to chase after webmasters with the stick. The idea is that anything that really follows in plain text or in HTTP is much more susceptible to being snooped on by anyone on the web, whether it's a hacker that's dialing into your connection or snooping on you over Wi-Fi, or any of the other ways that hackers can connect to your server and or grab your content. So I've listed some helpful resources here, and I'm actually going to share with you each of these right now. So here's some more details on what we're talking about. The first is HTTPS as a ranking signal from Google Webmasters from their blog. The next is supportgoogle.com, some webmaster issues and how to secure your website and what that means. And the final is webdesignledger.com, Google HTTP websites unsafe. That's the big thing that was announced recently, that really announced that Google may start, and underlining may start actively downgrading. That's the latest word that we've received from Google. So let me show you these for a moment. Again, I don't see any questions, but if you do have a question during the event, click that green Ask a Question button after clicking on number 1 here under Google Plus page. So if you click on this, that's going to take you to this page, and you can ask us questions about HTTPS, but for sure wanted to give you these secure pages. So notice right here that Google, this Google webmaster page or this Google blog page is HTTPS. Basically, any content that's not search related is now HTTPS at Google. So here's the deal with this. There's a good overview on what HTTPS means for ranking signals at this page. So read through this, and it gives a lot of detail. But basically what they're saying on this post is you need to have a secure socket layer SSL certificate. And as long as you have some sort of certificate, you can be rest assured that you're not going to get downgraded in your search engine results. They go a step further on how to secure your site with HTTPS in the second link that I sent, or that I included in the links here. And basically that goes over what HTTPS is. And again, Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure. And data sent over that is encrypted. It's got data integrity, so it can't be modified or corrupted during transfer. And it's authentic, that you need to indicate that you are the owner of content when you use an HTTPS or a SSL certificate. So that's the data that you need to know about this. But then it also goes through some really handy best practices, links, and issues that you might run into when you're switching over. Now, finally, that last piece that I referred to, actually, I didn't have it up, but the link is back to that if you want to get more information on why you should care about HTTPS. But let's get back into our content, and we'll move forward a little bit with the pros and cons of using SSL. So really, the good parts of SSL far outweigh the bad, in my opinion. There is far increased security, more trust, and now better search engine optimization. Now, as I mentioned before, it's going to be marginally better, so it's not that huge of a deal, but soon there's the danger that your website will be labeled as insecure or untrustworthy with a little red X in the URL line when you visit those pages. There's also concern and discussion in the SEO world that websites might be starting to get actively downgraded in their search engine results if you don't have SSL on your websites. So they're really trying to force the issue. However, the bad parts about SSL include that it's costly. So you might have to spend, at a minimum of probably $30 to $60. And in general, a round number seems to be around $150 to $160 a year to secure your website. And you'll probably need a static IP. A static IP is an IP address that never changes. Many websites, especially shared websites, if you're on shared hosting, the stuff that you might get at GoDaddy or Bluehost or HostGator or any of the cut rate places out on the web, generally have dynamic IPs, which means that their IP address can change at will. The pages will always get there if you enter in your URL, but it might go to a different place depending on what server that's being served from. When you get a static IP, that means that your website is always on one specific server. Generally, with web hosts, that's a slightly more expensive proposition. So you need to get a static IP, and then you need to secure an SSL. Those are updated annually, both of those rentals, really. And in general, for BizzyWeb, for example, getting a static IP and an SSL costs around $160 per year. So, take what you got, but if you get better rankings, $160 is a very small investment if it can get you even 5 or 6 places higher in your search engine results, and if that turns into a few more sales or a lot more interest. So how do you get started with SSL? Of course, first, you need to back up your website. This is intended a little bit for webmasters and people that are ready to get their hands dirty. If you are a BizzyWeb client, of course, you can request this and we'll take care of all this stuff for you. But if you were doing it outside, you would back up your website. You would connect with some website or some SSL authority. And if you just Google SSL, there's all kinds of resellers of secure socket layers. Go with a trusted one and don't go with the cheapest, because there are a lot of issues and concerns with the cheapest thing. You get what you pay for across the board. So you'll install your SSL, and you have to jump through a number of hoops. But again, if you're used to getting your hands dirty in websites, that's all kind of standard stuff. And you need to secure that with your domain name. So you need all the logins for your domain registration. You need to have access to the secure portions of your website and shareable links. So, you need to know what you're doing on that. Once you get your SSL installed, you then need to update the links and resources on your website. So if you have any hard-coded links into your website, you simply need to change anything that said HTTP to HTTPS. There are tools that will help you do that, and in the Webmaster tools that I linked to before, and as a matter of fact, on Google Webmaster Tools, you can set up 301 redirects, and in general, you can browse and scan your site on Google Webmaster Tools to make sure that you don't have any issues after you've activated and updated your website to support SSL. Note again that you will see a small dip in search engine results, or some fluctuations as Google calls them, but it catches up pretty quick because, again, it's a strong indicator of trust when you install an SSL on your website. It's just the fluctuations happen as Google modifies and rectifies the content that they have on your website with these new addresses. The key thing to probably know is that you just need to work with your webmaster if you're at all nervous about doing any of these things. If you have a simple website, or if you don't do a whole lot of marketing with your website, this might not be a huge concern, but it is absolutely something that we felt we should underscore as you look at the world of the web and what's happening. This probably isn't quite as big a deal as when Google stopped ranking non-mobile responsive websites as far as mobile search results, but it could be a big deal in the near future. As an absolute minimum, make sure that you have secure login pages on your website, that you're locking down your content. Don't open up your website or your content on your website, and especially your customers, to insecure data traffic. It's just bad juju. So make sure that you're taking advantage of all of the tools at your disposal. SSL is one of those things that you should, and we feel strongly that you should try to install on your website. Again, if you are a Bizzy Web customer and you would like to talk about secure web hosting or using SSL and a static IP on your website, let us know and we'd love to help. Now we're at questions, so I'm going to switch over for a moment and just make sure that we don't have any questions on our page. So let's see here from our page. It doesn't look like we have any specific questions, so if you do have a question, this is your time. Or again, as a reminder, go ahead and send an email to dave@bizzyweb.com if you're feeling shy and you don't want to ask a public question. As we wait for questions to come in, I'm just going to wrap up our general content. And if something does happen, we'll connect up with you there. But in summary, Bizzy Web can help you with all of these things. So if you have a website, especially if you're a Bizzy Web client, this is something that's easy for us to do. You will see some changes and some modifications. It does take a little bit of doing, but we would love to help you with that if you need that help. We do digital marketing services with our Buzz Builders programs. So if you would like help on getting more traffic to your website, or even better, getting real results with your website, and you don't want to hire on new staff members, but instead would like to hire on an entire team of professionals for less than the price of one person, give us a call and talk about Buzz Builders today. If you need help with your web design, of course, we are a WordPress web design shop. And if you are not yet registered for our mailing list, we send out notices every week on what's coming up next week with either tips and tricks or a key or a teaser on what's happening next week in our Bizzy Webinars. So if you want to know what's happening in coming weeks with Bizzy Web and keep up to date with all of the newest things that are happening in digital marketing, we talk about them every single week, and you'll get instant access to those things with a handy login link if you register and sign up for our email list. Just text Bizzy to 22828, and we'll ask you for your email address, and that's it. We never share email addresses, and we only use email addresses to send you helpful information. There's no promotional messages that we send out. And so if you're interested, our tools and the way we approach our business is very much to help you generate buzz without getting stung. And we believe that includes sending only helpful information instead of trying to sell our clients. So if you have any questions or concerns, would love to help you with that. Again, you can visit us at BizzyWeb.com. You can send me a note at dave@BizzyWeb.com or give us a call at 612-424-9990. We'd love to help, and if you have any other questions, please get a hold of us. But until then, I'm Dave Meyer with BizzyWeb. Thank you so very much for joining us today on our Bizzy Webinar. And remember, at BizzyWeb, we help you generate buzz without getting stung.